Before you let AI fix a bug, stop for a moment. The first thing you can see broken is often not the first thing that went wrong. And that matters because AI can give you a convincing fix for the wrong problem. You might see a blank screen, an error message, or a button that doesn't even work. And then you ask AI to fix it. The AI changes the backend, changes permissions, changes the database, or rewrites a whole section of the app. It might look productive, maybe, but if you haven't worked out where the problem first started, you're still going to be just guessing. You're only going to be guessing. So today I want to show you a simple way to avoid that with AI, yeah? And the rule is, find the first broken contract before you let AI change anything. Now, the word contract can sound technical, but in this sense, it's very simple, yeah? A contract is just a small agreement between two parts of your app. You're gonna have one part which sends something, the next part receives that something. Then it sends something back. The next part needs to understand it. So, for example, a user presses a save button, for instance. The screen sends the details to the system. The system then processes those details. The system sends an answer back. Then the screen shows the user whether it worked or not. Yeah? So each step is an agreement. Okay? The screen agrees to send the right information. The system agrees to process that information. Then the system agrees to send back an answer for the information it received. And the screen agrees to understand that answer that was sent back from the system. So when one of those agreements break, the user sees a problem, naturally, yeah? But the place where the problem appears is not always the place where the problem is actually starting from, okay? So let's use a simple illustrative example, yeah? A user presses save. They expect to see a success message. Instead, they see the page show an error. So now the easy reaction is to assume the backend is broken. The backend is simply the part of the app that works behind the scenes. It's what you don't see, yeah? So someone might tell AI, fix the backend. Or they might tell AI, change the permissions. Or they might tell the AI to update the database. But before changing anything, we need to ask 3 simple questions. Very important. Firstly, did the screen actually send the request? In plain English, did the message leave the screen and reach the system? That's the first one. Second, what did the system send back? Did it say the action worked? Or did it send back a valid answer? And then thirdly, did the screen understand the answer correctly? This is where many people get caught out. Imagine the screen sent the correct information. Imagine the backend processed it correctly. Also imagine the backend even sent back a valid success answer. But the screen was expecting that answer in a different format. Yeah, the screen was expecting that answer in a different format. The system said success, but the screen was looking for the success message in the wrong place. So what ends up happening? The user sees an error because it's a mismatch. It's a mismatch, yeah? So the visible problem is the error on the screen, obviously, yeah? But the first broken contract is not the back end. It is the screen reading the answer incorrectly. That changes everything. You don't need to rewrite the back end. You don't need to change the security settings. You don't need to touch the database. You need to make like one narrow change where the first failure actually happened. That is all. This is where loop engineering becomes very, very useful. Very useful. So instead of giving AI a broad instruction like fix the save function, you give it a controlled instruction. You would say something like, the request is being sent correctly. The system is sending back a valid answer. The screen is reading that answer incorrectly. Only investigate and update the screen logic. Do not change the backend, permissions, or database. Yeah, so that is a much more safer instruction. And obviously we can get a little bit more detailed with actually creating audits, but I'll do further videos on that and later down in the episodes. So you have now given the AI a clear job. You have protected the areas that do not need changing. And you've stopped a small problem from becoming a large rewrite. Yeah? Now, after this, there's one more step that we've got to do. Obviously, naturally, test it. You've got to test it. So, first, you want to test the exact patch that failed. Does the save button now work properly? Then, we test the nearest related path. So for example, does another form still work? Does a different user state still work? Does an invalid action still fail safely? A fix is not complete just because the first problem disappears. It is complete when the intended path works and the nearby paths still work too. So here is a simple rule to remember. Don't let the AI fix anything it sees. Don't let the AI fix the first thing it sees. Find the place where expected behavior and actual behavior stops matching. Yeah? That is the first broken contract. Then change only that layer. Test the original path. Test the nearby path. And only then accept the results, yeah? That is how you build with AI without letting every small issue become a bigger problem. And I've just given a simple way to do this, okay? So in the next video, I will show you how to give AI a clear scope so it doesn't wander, drift into stable parts of your product that don't need changing. So build with leverage and keep control.